Hi, I'm Tom Richardson, and welcome to another episode of Nuts and Boats. Now, JB and Steve encounter their fair share of problems when servicing these boats, and a lot of them can be tied to electrical issues and particularly battery problems. Isn't that right, JB?
That's right, Tom. I got a beauty for you. Come on aboard.
What we have here, Tom, is this particular customer had used wing nuts. So as part of our spring checklist, we always inspect the battery just to make sure the battery cables are secure and tight.
Yeah, what's the problem with wing nuts?
Well, with wing nuts, Tom, it's very easy with the vibrations of a boat for that battery cable to come loose. And once it comes loose, you have all sorts of engine problems, electronic problems.
Yep.
And what I'd like to do is just demonstrate to you, how easy it is to loosen up a battery cable.
Okay, let's take a look.
Okay, what we have here is we have a wing nut type terminal, that's holding this battery cable. And you can see with not much pressure, I can actually loosen that up. And now this cable is very loose. And there again, this is where we get service calls periodically through the summertime where all it is just a loose battery cable.
So, what do you use instead of the wing nuts?
These are the locking nuts, Tom. As you can see, there's a little elastic nylon insert, which will prevent this from loosening up, once it's torqued.
Yep.
And what I also want to mention is when you tighten these, you should absolutely use a wrench, not just pliers.
Right, good point.
Unlike the wing nut, this cable here will not loosen up with pressure on the cable. Over here, Tom, we've got an example of batteries that are not secured properly and there's no covers on the posts. As you can see, get any kind of rough water and these batteries will be floating all over the place.
Yeah, I gotcha. And it's probably violating some sort of Coast Guard regulation, right?
That is correct. Both ABYC and the U.S. Coast Guard are looking for stuff like this because obviously you want a secure battery. Tom, what I also recommend is once we're finished tightening our battery cables, we should protect those terminals. What we use here at the shop is we use a paraffin-based wax. And what that does, that seals the terminal and it really prevents corrosion from attacking that cable.
Yeah, very important in salt water.
Very important. I also want to make mention, Tom, is that it is a Coast Guard requirement that your positive battery cable be completely covered. So that way we don't have any accidental shorts. Here, Tom, is an example of a battery that is properly secured. It is in a battery tray, and as you can see, very little movement on the battery itself.
Does it matter that it's not in a battery box?
Actually, no, Tom. This is what's called a battery tray, and it has a retaining strap on it. There are other configurations that actually have long bolts that hold that battery secure.
And what's the exact specifications that the Coast Guard requires?
What they're looking for is we cannot have 1 inch or over 1 inch of movement in any direction, and it can withstand a 50-pound pull.
Well, that's great, JB. Thanks a lot. Great stuff, good simple tips that can help keep you out of trouble this season on the water. I'm Tom Richardson, and that's another episode of Nuts and Boats.